are not in support of any attempt to have parking meters in the city, especially under the circumstances that there is no study pointing to the economic viability, the ability to pay, the residents to pay, no public consultation, no concern about what residents, businesses, consumers, customers feel about this project, and the general secrecy that surrounds this project. And we don't have to go too far. If you study the case of California, and I have a lot of documents on it, you will see that the city of California went into a private arrangement for parking meters. And it was a 75-year lease agreement. And that, it was later discovered that that agreement has so many flaws and so many issues that it was a big scandal. It turned out to be a big scandal, huge scandal. It was the height of all parking meter scandal in developing cities. From what I heard, something sounds very familiar. 75 years lease. We don't know what the city council investment would be. But how can you give a 75% lease and 80% revenue on an investment when you're carrying most of the operating costs? What is the value for the physical space and infrastructure that this company will be utilizing in the city to put up its various meters? Will a rent be charged? What is the cost of the security for manning this operation? Who will be paying those security? Who will be paying for the electricity, the power consumption? All of these are issues that must be of concern to us. But most importantly is the ability of our citizens to pay for a service like this. In this present rate that is being discussed, which is $50 per 15 minutes, parking for 8 hours would be approximately $1,600 per day. Parking for 5 days would be $8,000. And parking for the month would be $32,000. This is for 8-hour period. So let us say an employee of Starbuck News with their office on Robb Street goes to work at 7 and you leave work 8 hours after. You will be paying every day $1,600 for that spot. Can you afford that? Use any other media outlet as an example. But we don't even know how a public space is defined. Let us say, for example, you have a funeral service at the St. George's Cathedral. And you have people attending that funeral services and park along the way and all over. That cost, or that public space, would now carry a cost for utilization. What about the nightclubs in the night? Let us say, for example, outside Main Street, you have New Tribune, you have Palm Court, you have Tower, all these places. If you go there on a given night, you have a lot of cars along the roadway. Who will bear the burden? It is the consumer. This is an added burden to the consumer. It is what you call an added tax. It is an indirect tax to the people of this country. So the parking meter is definitely going to be an indirect tax, a new charge, an indirect tax on the people of this country. But let us forget everything the PBB says about this project. And let us go to what the government says and how the government feels itself about this project. I have here in my possession a letter from Mr. Ronald Bulkan, Minister of Communities. addressed to Her Worship, Ms. Patricia Chase Green, Mayor of the City of Georgetown. The letter says, Cabinet in its deliberation requested the agreement at caption be reviewed by the Minister of Finance and the Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs. The comments and or recommendation of the Ministry of Finance and the AGMLA have been submitted to Cabinet, and I am mandated by Cabinet to forward same for the Council's attention and action. Attention and action. I will urge that the Council takes into account the comments of the MOF as well as the recommendation of the AGMLA to engage the service of a suitable qualified accountant to provide guidance on the way forward. I urge as well, in the interest of accountability and transparency, that these reports be circulated and disseminated. Now, what does the report say? First of all, characteristics of the agreement. The concession agreement is one of unequal bargaining strength. This is what the Cabinet is saying. The concession agreement is one of unequal bargaining strength. Most of the terms are overwhelmingly in the favor of Smart City Solutions, Inc., concessionaire, with Article 14 on termination being in favor of the company. The financial regime for fees and fines to the account of the concessionaire seem to be onerous on the city. This is what the Cabinet is saying. There is not a genuine pre-estimate of the true loss to be suffered in relation to termination. This is what the Cabinet said in relation to the contract. Let us now turn to what some other officials and public figures would have said. Parking meter, posted on June 11, 2016 by Ralph Ramkaran. The decision to install parking meters are clearly on APNU+AFC agenda prior to the elections. So he is saying that it is on the agenda of the APNU+AFC prior to the elections. However, no attempt was made to consult with the people of Georgetown, the businesses, or anyone else that would be affected as it relates to the parking meter project. We also learned that the contractor will take 80% of the revenue from the parking meter, while the City Council will get 20% from off the top. This is what Mr. Ramkaran says. This smells very much like a get-rich-quick scheme to exploit owners of motor vehicles. That is Mr. Ralph Ramkaran. Government, and this is now Guyana Chronicle, 2016, the 5th, August the 5th, 2016. Government says parking meter contract not illegal. Right? And in the same article, the government is conceding that the contract seems heavily in favor of the concessionaire. Heavily, not in favor, but heavily in favor of the concessionaire. Then we go to June the 5th, 2016, Stabrook News. Criticisms of the parking meter deal mounts. And you quote here Deputy Mayor Sherrod Duncan, who called for a more competitive process. Questions about the credential of the contractors were raised, and councils expressed dismay at the secrecy in relation to the signing of the parking meter contract. We had issues from Team Legacy. We had issues from the councillor Lionel Jaikaran. Notwithstanding all of these, notwithstanding all of this information that has come to bear, the government, via the City Council, continues on the road of implementing this project. It is our view, first of all, that there is no justification for such a project in our economy at this time, that there is no proper analysis in relation to the ability to pay for such a service, concerned that the consumer will bear the brunt of this indirect tax that is now imposed on the people of this country. And finally, this project will disrupt business activities across the city. There are many other alternatives you can use that many other cities would have used that would have directed the issue of parking to ability to pay, than creating an indirect tax that is imposed as a burdensome expenditure on everyone. So, not only are we concerned about the issues of transparency and accountability in relation to the parking meter contract, but we are also concerned about a more fundamental question dealing with the ability of our people to pay this new indirect tax.